plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it as negotiated. Mr. Charles, the floor is yours. If you,
Yes, Your Honor, this DUI is because she was mixing a lot of different medication
Huh.
for seizure, for blood pressure, and actually she's taking about almost 12 medication. And I told her, saying now she knows she cannot drive anymore, to see her doctor about what medication she can take in the morning and what to take at night. She was taking everything in the morning. So I told her, stop doing it, even at the pharmacist or the doctor. Some you may want to be able to take in the morning, some during the day, some at night, so that way you don't feel as drowsy and, you know. So basically, I cannot give her medical advice, but I told her to talk to a doctor about it.
I agree, and I think that's good advice to see about spreading them out and letting a doctor help her spread them out in the correct. So I agree with you. So, okay. Ms. Collier, do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
I don't think so.
All right, then I'm going to find that the sentence is as follows. On 24 SR 0308, count 1 DUI, I'm going to find you guilty. It's 12 months probation. $1,001 is your fine. Count, that's a total of 12 months. Any other charges in this case are dismissed. 1 day to serve in the jail with credit for time served in full. You don't have to go back to the jail. All right, so you may work off your fine with community service work. We've already discussed that. I'm confident we'll find a solution for you
Oh,
here.
so it's either or.
I'm so sorry. With the fine, so you have to work off the 40 hours with community service work. You can choose to work off the fine with additional community service
Additional.
work.
Okay, I got you.
So, and so if you want to do that, you can do that as well. That's where how the guy got 1,000 hours when there's no way I can. The law only allows me to order 250 maximum, but you can convert yourself however many you want. I'm going to waive the license requirement since she's unable to. Right? There's no. You've surrendered your license, ma'am.
I have not surrendered it, but I have a letter stating that, and I was dismissed from work because of not better, but I have a letter from my doctor
The
saying,
doctor give a letter to her not to drive.
yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I told her she can convert the license to a state ID.
Right. I'm going to put do not drive a motor vehicle without clearance. Okay. So I'm waiving the license requirement. No illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence. $100 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. 40 hours of community service work as required by law. Substance abuse evaluation within 90 days and DUI school within 60 days. Do not operate any motor vehicle without court approval. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, can I answer any questions for you, ma'am, about anything before you and I part
No,
ways?
y'all tell me who my probation officer is and all
You're
that
gonna
stuff.
meet the first
that.
member of the sentence enforcement team in about 60 seconds.
Okay, so sit back down.
The bailiffs are gonna walk you out those double doors. You're good to go. Oh, we're good.
Yes.
All right, and you're Hayes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Serena Lynn Hayes.
Ms. Hayes, you're here today on 24 SR 0805 and 23 SR 0660. You were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Your attorney has passed to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
do you understand that you have the right to a jury? Do you understand, have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you are satisfied with the job they've done?
Yes, sir.
And you understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Any questions I can answer for you about anything, anywhere on this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anywhere else before I pivot to the facts of your case?
Nope.
All right,
No, sir.
Mr. Charles, starting with 24 SR 0805, do you stipulate that there's a factual basis to support this DUI from December 2nd, 2023 here in Spalding County?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And Ms. Hayes, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that DUI charge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Charles, back to you. Do you stipulate that there's a factual basis to support this hit and run charge from the same course of events?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And ma'am, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that charge?
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving on to 23 SR 0660, count one, hit and run. Mr. Charles, do you stipulate the factual basis for this one from February 11th, 2022 here in Spalding County?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And ma'am, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that charge?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to find between Mr. Charles's stipulations and Ms. Hayes' request to enter guilty pleas that there's enough for me to take her pleas. I'm going to find that she's knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving her rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Any questions about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Charles, you wish to add anything?
No, sir, thank you very much.
All right, here we go. Serena Hayes, 24 SR 0805. That's our first case in the order of sentencing. Count one DUI, guilty, 12 months, $16.95 is your fine. Count two, hit and run, guilty, that's 12 months consecutive, $7.50 is your fine. All other charges in this case will be dismissed pursuant to this plea. That's a total of 24 months of probation. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. It's 1 day to serve with credit for time served. I'm 90% certain you can get your license back during this first period, but I'm not entirely confident. So I'm going to leave it on there. But if you can't get it back in your first 24 months, it'll just roll over to your next one. So I'm not going to revoke you for something you physically can't do by operation of law. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Okay.
But I am going to require you to get your license back before all of this is over.
Okay.
All right, so no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This case, which is 24 SR 0805, is consecutive to any state court sentence, if any. $100 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. 40 hours of community service work. Substance abuse evaluation within 90 days, and DUI school within 60 days. All right, that closes out 24 SR 0805. Moving on to 23 SR 0660, hit and run, guilty, 12 months, $742.50. This is consecutive to 24 SR 0805, an additional $100 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. You will be required to show your license. No alcohol.
Can you
illegal dr-
explain the consecutive one more time to me?
Sure, it's okay. So in this first case, you have two charges. They're 12 months each, and they're run one after another, consecutive.
Okay.
For 24 months, 24 months of probation.
Okay.
This second, and that's 24 TK 0805.
Okay.
So this second case is 23 SR 0660. It is also 12 months, and it is also consecutive to the first case, giving you 36 months of probation.
So, like 3 years instead of together.
That's correct.
It's not-
And yeah,
It cannot be concurrent.
now if you go and do well, you're welcome to come see me after 2 years.
I'm not happy with that part, but it.
Yeah, so, but I can go ahead and tell you that if you do really well, you should come see me and ask me to let you off of probation.
Okay.
So, I'll tell you that, that I'm not going to give that to you today, though. So sometimes we do that preemptively where we tell folks, hey, do this, but yours, I'm not willing. Even if they
Okay.
put it on here, I would probably say I'm not willing to do that
Okay.
because
That'll
of
work.
the severity of your cases. But I'm telling you right now, you come back and see me no earlier than 24 months from today, 24 months, and they tell me that you're finished with everything and you're doing a great job, I'd very likely consider that. I am not in any way guaranteeing you that I will let you go, but I am telling you that that would be a hearing worth having on your part.
Okay, thank you.
All right? No guarantees. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's make sure the record's clear on that. Okay, so you're now going to have 36 total months of probation. It is no early termination, but you can ask me for early termination after 24 months. And I'm going to put a little note here that says, okay to request. I'm actually going to call it non-report. All right. So you'll need to show your license, no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products, $60 per month supervision fee, an additional $50 intake fees. So that's per case. So two $50 fees, two $100 restitutions, $100 per case. And again, this case is consecutive to 24 SR 0805. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal either of these decisions. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Can I answer any more questions for you about anything before you and I part ways?
Like you said, community service can pay off those fines, correct?
Yes, you may work off all of your fines with community service work.
Okay,
That's a good question. Anything else?
that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Bailiff's going to walk you out those double doors. All right, so may I please see Tamara Jefferson? Is that right? That's your next one?
Ms. Jefferson is requesting first offender this.
Okay, as long as she qualifies, that sounds great.
Yeah, she's qualified.
Okay. All right, Ms. Jefferson, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, take your hand down. And you have several names. Let's just make sure we have them right, because names are important.
Yes.
And tell me your full name, nice and slow, and in order.
Tamara Rochelle Lyles Richardson Jefferson.
Good, we have it exactly the same. Okay, so, and should I call you Miss Jefferson? Is that the name?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine.
So, all right, well then let's talk this through. You are on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Your attorney has placed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Ms. Jefferson, have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorney about all aspects of your case?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the job Mr. Charles has done on your behalf?
Yes.
Do you understand, ma'am, that you have the right to a jury trial on your case?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
Okay, I am realizing, let's circle back to your name, because I'm realizing that in the database, we may have them in an incorrect order. So Tamara is your first name,
Yes.
and then your middle names are Rochelle and Lyles?
Yes.
And is Richardson considered your middle name or a hyphenated last name?
It can be hyphenated, but it's not. But yes, it is a last name.
Okay, so it's Richardson Jefferson would be, if I were to address you properly, the way your naming people would want me to name you, it would be Richardson, Miss Richardson Jefferson.
Yes.
Oh, well, let's do that then. So that means this is correct, because we have you as Richardson Jefferson.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, Miss Richardson Jefferson, you are asking me for a first offender, is that correct?
That is correct.
So let's talk that through to make sure we're on the same page. So
Yes.
the way first offender works is, you're asking me for it, and if I grant it, what that means is you will complete your probation successfully, and then I will close your case with no finding of guilt. That's first offender. You will only get one for your entire life, so you will never have access to your first offender again. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you wish to use your first offender on this battery case, knowing that you will never have access to it again in any other case ever?
Yes.
Now, moving forward to how it works, you'll need to successfully complete your probation. If you do not successfully complete your probation, then I have the right to have a hearing where you stand there and I sit here. No present, and I can take away your first offender and find you guilty. So not only do you not have it, but you'll never have it because it's gone.
Yes.
Do you understand that if you don't do your terms correctly, that is a possibility?
Yes.
Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, then I find that, and are you a convicted felon?
No.
All right, then I find that she hasn't used her first offender previously. She's not a convicted felon. She qualifies in all other aspects, and I'm going to grant Mr. Charles's request for a first offender on your behalf.
Thank you.
All right, so jumping back into my regular spiel, Mr. Charles, do you stipulate that there's a factual basis to support this battery charge? And I repeat, it is not a family violence case, not a family violence case. From January 2nd, 2023 here in Spalding County.
Yes, I do.
And Ms. Richardson Jefferson, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to, under the First Offender Act, to that battery charge?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to find that, that you're, between Mr. Charles's stipulations, the factual basis, and your request to enter the guilty plea, that there's enough for me to take this plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Mr. Charles, anything you wish to add before I sentence?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Richardson Jefferson, do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Then the sentence to the court is as follows. Ms. Richardson Jefferson on 23 SR 0120, count 1 battery. I'm going to say again, not a family violence case. I'm granting your first offender. It's guilty, 12 months, $590 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current state court sentence, and you will need to pay $100 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. 20 hours of community service work and no less than 6 hours per week, and no contact whatsoever with Allison Elaine. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, can I answer any questions for you, ma'am, about anything before we part ways?
No, thank you.
All right, Mr. Charles, anything else?
No, sir, thank you very
All
much.
right, that's yours. Ma'am, the bailiffs are going to walk you out those double doors back there and have you meet with sentence enforcement.
Now, yes, please.
Yeah, that's all I have for you, so great. All right, let me talk to our virtual people just for a minute. All right, Ms. Morris, I sent you an unmute request, if you'll approve that.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Morris, several minutes ago, I put up on your screen the document that was called the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. I'm putting it back up there again. I pulled it down for just a moment. Well, it didn't work. Give me a second. Okay. Are you able to see the document on your screen?
Yes.
And when I had it up there earlier, did you have enough time to read through the entire document?
I did.
Okay. And if you were here entering a plea in front of me, would you say that you understand it enough to be able to initial each of those lines on the left of each paragraph, or do you need more time to look through them?
No, I've read it all.
Okay. All right. Well, are you ready to do your plea then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Ms. Morris, I'm going to place you under oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So please state your full name for me.
Roxy Ann Morris.
Ms. Morris, you were present virtually this morning. We spoke briefly before court. Did you hear the entire set of rights that I read out when we first got started and see the PowerPoint on your screen?
I did.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, I do.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about any of those rights?
No, sir.
Ms. Morris, as I said a minute ago, you've looked at the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver on your screen. Do you recognize that document as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
And if you look at it, you'll probably notice that this document tracks the PowerPoint.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I know that because when I was creating it, I literally pulled the PowerPoint up and went through it myself.
Okay.
So let's run through and hit some of the highlights and see if you have any questions. So starting with paragraph 1, are you knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entering this plea?
I am.
Is anyone promising you or threatening you in any way to force you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the, I'm moving on to paragraph 2. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol here today?
No, sir.
Is anyone forcing you in any way to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Moving on to the third paragraph. Do you understand the charge that you're entering a plea to, which is theft by shoplifting?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the fourth paragraph. Do you understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to read right down that line, and I'm going to read them all out. That you're waiving the right to be presumed innocent, to force the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, to cross-examine the state's witnesses, to subpoena your own witnesses and evidence, to testify and not testify, and to not incriminate yourself and produce evidence against yourself. Do you understand you're waiving all those rights?
I do.
And you see them on the screen there?
I do.
Do you understand you have the right to have an attorney?
Yes, sir.
And you're here today without an attorney. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to page 2, do you understand that you can ask me for certain conviction protections such as first offender, conditional discharge, NOLO, and a best interest if you wish to use those?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you wish to use any of those?
No, sir.
All right. Do you understand that you're going to receive probation and that probation will require you to abide by the terms or face a revocation hearing?
Yes, sir.
Are you a United States citizen?
I am.
This is not a family violence. You understand that you're going to have a Fourth Amendment waiver so that you will be required to do drug testing and whatnot and provide
Yes,
those results directly to sentence enforcement.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll come back to the habeas corpus. All right, so you were present virtually in the courtroom when I reviewed all these rights with you, and I've just gone through them again on a highlighted version. Are there any questions about anything that I can answer for you?
No. But the only question I do have is for us on the drug testing. Will I need to have, because I'm in recovery now, I've been here for a year. So will I just, the drug testing that we do here, do I send a copy of this to the probation office?
That will very likely work. I'll let the probation office make that decision, but you will need to any sort of waiver needed to allow them to communicate directly with the provider.
Okay.
So you'll need to sign a bunch of HIPAA waivers to let probation have access to it. Don't take this personally, but we don't let defendants send in tests directly. They tend to be negative no matter what. So if that makes sense.
It does.
That's a good question, by the way. And the answer is, I think that's going to be all right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. So did you here in Spalding County back on October 20th of 2020 take merchandise from Walmart, take it to your own use and prevent Walmart from owning it properly? Did you do that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. I think so and yes are two different answers in a courtroom.
Yeah.
So
We'll go with yes.
yes. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm happy to address them. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm gonna just take it at your word that your yes is your yes and you want me to move forward. Okay, Ms. Morris?
Yes, sir. I mean, like, I guess the only reason why I said I think so is because, like, at that particular time, I was under a lot of medication and drugs. So I couldn't tell you a whole lot of what I did and did not do. But I am going to be accountable for it because, I mean, like, it happened, I guess. So, yes, I'm going to stick with my yes.
Okay, well, I'm actually gonna make it a little bit easier for you. What you've just described to me, Ms. Morris, is what's called a best interest plea. A best interest plea is where you do not admit to the underlying facts, but you do wish to close your case with a guilty plea. And so that's exactly what you just described to me is what's called a best interest plea. If you want, I will allow you to enter a best interest plea on this case.
Okay, yes.
Okay, we'll do that then. All right, so I'm going to find with your admission of guilt to the level of a best interest plea that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights in entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Any questions I can answer about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
Oh, I forgot to ask you, is it acceptable to you that we're entering this plea over this video conference system?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right. So, the sentence of the court then is as follows. As to count one, theft by shoplifting, your best interest plea is granted. I find you guilty. It's 12 months probation. $870 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work. You will need to show a valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence, if any. You may go to e-report immediately. How much time do you have left at Good Landing Recovery?
Well, it'll be probably like another year because I'm on extended now.
Okay.
I completed over 400 days already, so I've gotten my my first year sobriety. So I'm just kind of like staying in the realm of it, just to um, continue my sobriety, and I'm in the leadership um, position now. So like I'm kind of like helping other people that's struggling with addictions to you know, get through their struggle. So like it's not like a limited time of when I'm gonna be here.
Okay, that sounds great because I find that those that remain in orbit of their rehab centers and support for the next round generally are more successful. So you are absolutely making all the right decisions to stay sober.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'm going to immediately put you on e-report. I'm going to have you call by phone this Friday, which would be, no, we're into October this Friday. That would be the 4th. So I'm going to have you call October 4th between
Okay.
9 a.m. and noon. You're going to get their number by going to spaldingcounty.com and
Uh-huh.
going to the sentence enforcement page. You can go to my page and there's a link there as well.
Yes, sir.
And they'll give you their phone number for sentence enforcement. All right, do not go within 1,000 feet or have any contact with Walmart. Sign any HIPAA waivers for Good Landing Recovery. And then I'm going to put that you may terminate your case the moment you've satisfied your obligations.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, any questions about anything before you and I part ways?
No, sir. This is about it.
All right, well, good job on your sobriety and your recovery. You keep up the good work. And
Yes, sir.
good luck, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. All right, I'm gonna have I'm gonna plead Mr. Holloway not guilty and put him on the next trial calendar. So this is Willie Holloway. So if you'll give me he needs to go over to a ticket calendar. All right, Mr. Holloway, I'm about to send you an unmute request. If you'll approve that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Holloway, you're here virtually. What's a good phone number for us to reach you?
770-256-1346.
All right, you gave me 770-256-1346. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what I'm going to do, Mr. Holloway, is I can't offer you a conference this morning, but what I can do is lift the warrant that I issued when you weren't here earlier. So there's no warrant now. We're back to square one. You with me so far?
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to reset you for a calendar, for a trial calendar, but I'll let you have a conference on that date, okay?
Yes, sir.
To try to resolve your case. And so if you'll give me just a second, you go grab a pen and a piece of paper, and I'm about to give you some information.
I'm just gonna write it down in my girl phone.
Okay, you ready?
Give me 1 second to pull out a notepad. Okay.
All right. Mr. Holloway, are you virtual today because you live out of the state, or you're here, you live here in Georgia?
Yes, I'm in Georgia, but I'm non-mobile right now. I'm waiting to have cart diffusion for both of my knees.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and approve you to report virtually on December 3rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. And I'm already writing on here that you're approved to report virtually on December 3rd, 2024 at 9 a.m.
Okay.
If you do not resolve your case on that court date, your jury trial week will be the week of December 15th, and that is in person.
You say what now?
If you do not resolve your case on December 3rd, you will need to report in person the week of December 16th for your trial.
Okay.
That's only if you don't resolve your case.
And I hopefully I do resolve, but in case I'm not able to resolve it, like, what if I'm not able to physically come to court?
I'm looking at your charges here. I'm confident we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I just have to tell you this, and then we'll talk it through.
All
So,
right.
but with your charges, your chances of resolving it on the 3rd are very high.
All right. I intend to.
Okay. All right. Do you understand this is the only notice you'll receive of this court date,
Gotcha.
and that you must appear virtually for these court dates, or I'll issue a warrant?
I understand.
And you have the right to have an attorney represent you. And if you wish, you can apply with the Public Defender's Office. And you can find their information on spaldingcounty.com on the state court page.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. Well, Mr. Holloway, good luck with your medical stuff. We'll see you on the 3rd. Again, I think you're going to be just fine. I think it's all going to work out on the 3rd for you.
All right. I appreciate that, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Holloway. You're free to remove yourself from the system.
Okay.
All right. Let's do our next plea. May I please have Terrence Urquhart step forward? How do you say your last name?
Urquhart.
Urquhart. Okay. All right. If you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you go?
Yes.
All right. Please take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Terrence J. Urquhart.
All right, Mr. Urquhart, you are here on 23 SR 0117. You were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
You have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Do you recognize this document as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it,
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
At first, I didn't.
All right. How about this? If you think of any questions that you want to ask me about anything, anywhere on this document, no matter how minor, do you promise to interrupt me and ask?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's very important to me that you understand everything on this document. Okay. So, did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you,
Yes.
and you're here representing yourself?
I had no time to get an attorney, but yes.
Okay, but you did have time. I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna
Okay.
gently but firmly push back on that. You did have time to get an attorney. They were here,
Okay.
and you still have the right to go see them. Just because they're not here in the courtroom doesn't mean they're gone. They've just gone back to their office.
Okay.
So if you ask me to stop this plea and let you go see them, I will do that. So I just want to make sure the record is very clear that you haven't given up the right to an attorney yet, unless you want to give up the right to have an attorney.
I was thinking if I ran a trial, I would have a better chance, but then I'm not too sure on that. So I really just wanted to get this behind me. So I pled the way I pled.
Okay. Well, I just want to make certain you hear me say, I'm going to do what you ask me to do. If you ask me to allow you to go forward, I'm going to find that you're voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently waiving the right to have an attorney. But if you hesitate or you're not sure, then I'm going to stop this plea and I'm going to send you to go talk to the public defender's office. So which of those do you want to do? Do you want to go see the public defender's office, or do you want to go forward right now without an attorney? I don't have a preference. This is your decision. You want to think about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, go grab a seat.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
okay. You're not the first person to ever come up here and not quite be sure. So we're good. Go grab a seat and I'll circle back to you in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next case on the calendar is Howard. All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, please state your full name for me.
Erica J. Howard.
All right, and Ms. Howard, you here we are, on 24 SR 451. You were on time for court this morning, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about any of those rights?
No, sir.
You have passed up to me the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Howard, did you understand that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial? So I got to do a yes and a no.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, you're not in trouble. So, and do you want to waive your right to a jury trial and enter this plea?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the facts of your case just a bit. Did you, here in Spalding County, back on August 13th of 2023, operate your motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol
Yes.
to the extent it was less safe for you to drive? Okay. Moving on to count 2. Have you used a NOLO on a suspended license in the last 5 years?
No.
If I move this over to a NOLO for just count 2, it will reduce, it won't save your license, but it will reduce the suspension.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move just count 2 and only count 2 from guilty over to NOLO.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Which brings me, you're very welcome, which brings me back to count 3, failure to maintain lane. Did you do that here in Spalding County back on the same course of events?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, I'm going to find with your admission of guilt, that's counts 1 and 3, and your NOLO request on count 2, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea.
Yes, sir.
I've reviewed the recommendation, and I'm going to follow it exactly as you negotiated, except obviously we changed the guilty to a NOLO.
Yes.
Can I answer any questions for you about anything before I sentence?
Yes, I do have a question.
Sure.
Okay, on the paper that you have in front of you,
Yes.
it have that I have to do a DUI class
Yes.
and like the victim panel class. I already have certificates that is valid for this year for those classes. Can I use those?
Like, the short answer is yes on the DUI school. Probably on the substance abuse,
Okay.
but so on the DUI school, if you've completed the 20-hour DUI school since August 13th of 2023,
Yes.
then that's an automatic yes.
Okay.
On the other one, they'll need to look at it, but it's probably going to be okay.
Because they was at the beginning of this year, like in March. I
Yes.
completed all those classes, so I have
And
certificates.
I just want you to hear me say, I think you're going to be okay. So you got a yes out of me on one,
Gotcha.
and a probably yes on the second, but I just need them to look at it.
That's good
I think
enough
you're
for
going to be great. We love it. We love it here when folks are proactive about getting their stuff back in order.
Yes.
And we bend over backwards to try to, when folks come in like you've done, we do everything we can to try to say yes, because we just are grateful that you put effort in ahead of time.
Thank
and
you.
we want to encourage that. Even if you did the wrong thing, I just want to still say, let's try to do that. So
Yes.
good job. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Any other questions?
No, sir, that'll be all.
Okay, so the sentence of the court then is as follows. On 24 SR 0451, count 1 DUI, guilty, 12 months, 1893 is your fine. Count 2, suspended license, I'm moving that to the NOLO, 12 months consecutive, 750 is your fine. Count 3, failure to maintain lane, guilty, 12 months concurrent, meaning it's a total of 24 months of
Yes, sir.
probation, 158 is your fine. All other charges in this case will be dismissed. That's 24 months total probation, 1 day to serve in jail. I'm initialing time served on that. You do need to show your valid license to sentence enforcement or get it back.
Yes.
No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current state court sentence.
Okay.
40 hours of community service work. So I'm going to word this. So you either need to complete a substance abuse evaluation or show proof.
Okay.
Then you need to complete the DUI school or show proof. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights.
Okay.
All right, can I answer any questions for you about anything before you and I part
Just
ways?
one more question.
Yes.
Question. Okay. Do you know how soon I have to do that community service?
The community service work is simply at 6 hours per week.
Okay.
So
it's not. I don't have to just start right now.
no, they'll give you a lead time to get started.
Okay. Thank you.
So because you'll need to pick where you want to go and all that. So you get a little bit of lead time. It's going to be okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for stepping through the little doors. Marcus Fuller. Well, Mr. Fuller, it's good to see you again. It's been a bit.
It's been a long time.
Last time you and I were together, we were at that table over there together. So
That's right.
I remember that Judge Essery gave us a directed verdict on one of the DUI charges, but we were unsuccessful on the others.
That's right.
My memory of our time together. So
Right.
All right. Well, you and I go way back. You okay with me taking this plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Marcus Stephen Fuller.
All right. Mr. Fuller, you're here on 23 SR 0521. You're on time for court today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
I did.
Mr. Fuller, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
I did.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
That's correct.
Mr. Fuller, did you see on here as well as hear me say that you have the right to have an attorney represent you
Yes, sir.
and you're here representing yourself?
That's correct.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial
I do.
and that by entering this plea, there will be no trial? This case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Fuller, did you here in Spalding County back on January 2nd of 2022 appear in a public place while intoxicated to the point where it disturbed the public tranquility?
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace and tranquility. All right. I'm going to find with your admission of guilt as to count 2, public drunkenness, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it exactly the way you've negotiated it. And since you're a prior client, I'm just going to be very clear and say, I'm not making any changes to this whatsoever. I'm simply taking it exactly the way it's come into me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Just being very careful about that. All right. Marcus Stephen Fuller on 23 SR 0521, count 1, public drunkenness, guilty, 12 months probation, $870 is your fine. All other charges in this case are dismissed. You may work off your fine with community service work. Get a valid license, show it to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, hemp products. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. And your case will close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Can I answer any questions for you about anything before I sentence? Before we part ways. Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Fuller, you take it easy, and I'm going to pass you off to the bailiffs. They're going to walk you out the door and have you go meet with sentence enforcement.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Lewis? Your Honor. Good morning. All right, if you please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Jimmy Dale Lewis Jr.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you're here today on 23 SR 0126, And according to my calendar, you were on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
I did, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
I did.
Any questions, Mr. Lewis, that I can answer for you about anything in those rights?
No.
You have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me get you pull your hands out of your pockets there. They get antsy when folks start putting their hands in their pockets.
Okay.
All right, are these your initials next to each of the lines on page
It
one?
is, sir.
Page two?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
I did.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
I did.
All right. Mr. Lewis, you have the right to have an attorney represent you. Do you understand that?
I do.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
It is.
All right. And you understand you have the right to a jury trial?
I do.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
I do.
All right. I have a note here that says you may not be able to get your license back. Is that correct?
Well, financially, no, but I have been granted the right to get them back. I have been reinstated. I just had to take care of this first
Okay.
and then go do the reinstatement fee for Griffin.
Okay. Well, if you can't get it back, there's steps we can take to help you with that. But I'm going to let you work that out with the sentence enforcement team.
I've paid off an old fine in Alabama, an old one in Oklahoma. I did DUI school twice because my house burnt down and I didn't have my documents, so I had to do it again. And I've done the substance abuse.
Okay. So you're almost there then.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's do this then. Have you used a NOLO on any suspended license charge in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
Are you asking me to use your NOLO today for this suspended license charge from September 16th of 2021?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO is proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights in entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it exactly the way you've negotiated it. Any questions for our sentence?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Lewis, on 23 SR 0126, count one, suspended license, your NOLO is granted. It's 12 months of probation, 602 is your fine. That's a total of 12 months. You'll need to show your license to sentence enforcement or follow their instructions to get that requirement waived. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence, and your case will close the moment you've satisfied your obligation to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, any questions for me before we part ways?
If I pay the 602 today, can I get off?
Not
being on
quite.
probation?
I need you to look at the license issue a little bit before we dig in, but again, I don't think we're not going to trap you with us. That's not our goal. So you'll need to get us a little more information though.
Okay.
So, all right. Thank you very much. You may step up. All right. Cannon. All right. You are Latrell Cannon?
Yes, sir.
All right. Please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right. Take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Latrell Devon Cannon.
All right, Mr. Cannon, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon, can I answer any questions for you about any of those rights?
No, sir.
I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page one?
Yes, sir.
Page two?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions, Mr. Cannon, that I can answer for you about anything here on this document?
No, sir.
All right. Now, I show that you actually initially requested a bench trial and then changed it to a conference. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you understand that when we finish this, your case will be closed and there will never be a bench trial in this case.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
All right. Just confirming that. Now, you're charged with DUI in that you did here in Spalding County on September 6th of 2021 operate a motor vehicle on a moving vehicle, operate a moving vehicle while under the influence of alcohol to the extent it was less safe for you to drive. Did you do that?
Can I go into NOLO? Or do I just?
Not
do
on
I-
a DUI, but do you have a NOLO on the insurance is what I was looking at. So
Okay.
you've used NOLO properly to the extent that this
with
case
the-
will let you.
Okay.
So even if I granted you a NOLO on the DUI, it doesn't do a bit of good.
Okay.
They took all the privileges away, the legislature did. So,
Yes, sir. Long story short, yes, sir.
yeah, that's okay. So, and am I seeing that you need to be on e-report? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Where are you going?
I'm in Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, Lou said he's Alabama resident.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I'll put that you can go immediately. Okay, that's great. So, have you used a NOLO on a no insurance in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
Are you asking me to accept the NOLO for the no insurance charge from the same course of events we've already discussed?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to find Mr. Cannon on 23 SR 89 that with your admission of guilt as to count 1 and your NOLO request to count 4, that everything is proper and I can grant your request for me to follow this recommendation and sentence you. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, here we go. Mr. Cannon on 23 SR 89, count 1 DUI, guilty, 12 months, 1683 is your fine. Count 4, no insurance, NOLO, 12 months consecutive, 449.50 is your fine. That's a total of 24 months of probation. All of the charges in this case are dismissed. It's 1 day to serve, credit for time served in full. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Let's see. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current state court sentence. You may go to e-report immediately. And, well, actually, it's after orientation, which is going to be here in just a second. Immediately is for the phone people. Your case may terminate the moment 12 months have passed, no violations have occurred, and all conditions have been met. You additionally need to complete 40 hours of community service work at no less than 6 hours per week, substance abuse evaluation within 90 days, and DUI school within 60 days. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and 6 months if you wish to use those habeas rights. Can I answer any questions for you, Mr. Cannon, about anything before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right. The sentence enforcement team will meet with you out there in the hallway, and the bailiffs will walk you out there.
All right.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, y'all.
Mabry? All right, if you will please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Candaria Shaquan Mabry.
All right, Miss Mabry, you're here on 24 SR 0499. According to my calendar, you were on time for court, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
You have passed up to me the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir, I did.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mabry, did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
And is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mabry, you are charged with 1 count of terroristic threats. Oh, this time served. Great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that makes.
She was in jail when we went to the jail to resolve the case, and she was released day of.
Ah.
We just didn't get a chance to resolve it, so she's here today. So
I thought your name was familiar, and that's got to be what it was.
that's what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be very easy for you then. Did you here in Spalding County, ma'am, commit the offense of terroristic threats back on February 19th of 2024?
Yes, sir.
And as to count 2, during that same course of events, did you obstruct a law enforcement officer by not obeying lawful commands?
Yes, sir.
And then count 3 is, did you obstruct a second law enforcement officer by not obeying lawful commands?
Yes, sir. Can you explain to me what obstruction is? Because I didn't run and I didn't do anything.
So, and what I'll do is I can also do this as what's called a best interest plea. And a best interest plea, while I'm pulling your case up, is where you don't admit to the underlying facts. You just simply tell me that after evaluating all of your options, jury trial, bench trial, this plea, you think this plea is in your best interest. And so I've just marked it as a best interest plea to make this easier for you.
Okay.
While I'm pulling your case up to tell you exactly what the details are of your obstruction. Usually it's where an officer gives you instructions, and those instructions were not followed.
Oh, okay. I probably moved too slow.
Yeah, sometimes it literally says that Officer Zubia gave you direct orders and you willfully disobeyed that direct command.
Okay.
And, okay, then that's count 2. Count 3 is actually a second charge, which is that you were not compliant while he was placing you under arrest. Again, you're not admitting to either of these. You're simply acknowledging that after evaluating all of your options, you believe that entering these pleas to these 3 charges are in your best interest.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then I'm going to find that to the point of a best interest plea, that everything is proper and given to me as it's appropriately. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights. I reviewed this recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right. I'm marking 2/3 of the page out because this is a time-served plea. So as to count 1, terroristic threats, I'm going to find you guilty under it's all best interest. Guilty, 106 days to serve. Count 2, obstruction, guilty, 106 days to serve. And count 3, obstruction, guilty, 106 days to serve. You've already served that 106. And so I'm initialing the line that says credit for time served in full, making this a time-served plea.
Thank you.
You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Can I answer you've asked good questions so far. Can I answer any other questions for you?
No, sir. I'm
Okay,
fine.
so, John, she needs to sign where defendant is. And ma'am, as soon as you sign it, the bailiffs can give it to you and then you're free to go.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, that was Mabry. Moving on to Mays. All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, if you'll lean into that mic, you can take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Quintavia Teresa Mays.
All right, and Ms. Mays, you have 2 cases on the calendar here today, 23 SR 127 and 128. Looks to me like we're going to enter pleas on both of these and close them. Is that correct? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. It was clear that was unintentional, but Miss Kathy's recording our conversation, and when you nod your head, she can't take that down. So you're not in trouble. It's okay. All right, Miss Mays, you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
You have passed up to me the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out this morning?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Ms. Mays, did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you
Yes, sir.
and that you are here entering this plea without an attorney? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial
Yes.
and that on both of these cases you're entering pleas and both of these cases will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. that's all the questions I have regarding your rights. Do you have any questions for me about anything we've covered so far before I pivot to the facts of your case?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Mays, starting with 23 SR 127, which will be the sentencing order. Does anybody remember the points value for aggressive driving? I don't. I've got it right here. Mr. Shepherd, can I ask you a quick question about this? I just had a quick question for you. Will you walk up here? Ms. Mays, the reason I called the prosecutors up here was because your case has a lot of moving parts, and I was trying to understand exactly what their goals were versus exactly what's going to happen to your license and how you're going to lose it and how you're going to get it back. And so what they told me when I got up here was exactly what I thought they were going to say, which means we're going to be okay here. So is it my understanding that you have already used a no load on a moving violation in the last 5 years?
Did I have?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Okay. If you're not sure, that's good. That's
Because
the
I
answer.
remember I tried to do it once. That's when I got my DUI, but she told me that I couldn't do it on my
Okay.
DUI, so I
I'm
don't think
great
they
with
did.
that. So
Okay.
that's also what they told me this was going to go. So this is still lining up exactly where I thought it would be.
Okay.
All right. Well then, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go through the facts of each of your charges, and then I'll unpack the rest of my conversation I had with them, with you, so that you know exactly what went on here. All right, starting with 23 SR 127, count one, suspended license. Have you used a NOLO on any suspended license charge in the last 5 years?
No.
All right. And are you asking me to accept a NOLO for count one, suspended license from September 19th of 2021?
If you don't mind.
Nope, I don't mind at all. So, all right, moving on to this count two, the no insurance. Are you wishing to use a NOLO plea on that charge as well for the same course of events?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then on the aggressive driving, that one we're moving over to the guilty category. So did you, here in Spalding County, operate your motor vehicle on a public roadway in an aggressive manner that threatened other drivers and property?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to move over to your second case, which is 23 SR 128. On this one, you also have a suspended license charge. I cannot accept a second NOLO because we just used it. So I'll ask you, on 23 SR 128 from September 19th of 2021, did you operate your motor vehicle while you're suspended, operate your motor vehicle on a public roadway while your driver's license was suspended?
Yes.
Okay, and then on count two, the failure to maintain lane, that's the one you're not quite sure about. Do you want me to grant your NOLO on that one, on that moving violation?
Please.
Okay. All right, now, so having the guilty pleas and the NOLOs on the table, I find that they are all proper, and I'm going to grant all of them as they are. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I will follow it. Do you have any questions for me about anything? And I'm going to unpack it as we go, as I sentence.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think that I do.
All right. And again, if you think of something, just raise your hand and I'll be happy to answer it.
Okay.
All right. So Ms. Mays, let's start with 23 SR 127. On this one, count one, suspended license, I'm granting your NOLO and it's 12 months of probation, $742.50. That should not cause a suspension of your driver's license because it's a NOLO. Count two, the no insurance, I'm granting that NOLO. It's 12 months consecutive, $742.50. The reason why you can do two different NOLOs on the same case is because there's actually 5 different NOLOs. I just don't go through all of that in the initial run through because it gets everybody turned around. But these are 2 different NOLOs, so I can grant that for you. Moving on to the aggressive driving, I would not grant a NOLO on that. That's a guilty plea, and I'm accepting that. It's 12 months probation, concurrent, 1288.50 is your fine, giving you a total on 23 SR 127 of 24 months of probation. On this case, you may work off, on both cases, you may work off your fine with community service work, show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence, if any, and complete defensive driving school. All right, so far so good on that?
Yeah.
Any questions on your first case?
No.
All right, moving on to your second case. This is where it got a little complicated, but I feel good about where we're at. As to 23 SR 128, count one, suspended license, I'm going to find you guilty. This 12 months probation, $742.50. As to count two, the failure to maintain lane, as you're not totally certain whether you've used the NOLO or not, my position is I'm going to grant it to you, but I'm not the final decision maker on if it's accepted. If DDS accepts it and they find that you've used a NOLO on another moving violation, then they're just going to enter it as a guilty plea, and I'm going to shrug my shoulders. So you understand this moment is your risk to take.
That's understandable.
Okay. And then 156.50 is your fine. Both of these cases run concurrent, but the entire case is consecutive to 23 SR 127. This case can also be terminated the moment you satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. I also need to warn you to be very careful moving forward with suspended licenses because the fourth one's a felony, and you have 2. So do you understand that? Okay. You have any questions for me at all?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you. This should get you settled and back in the right direction.
Okay.
Good luck to you, Miss Mace. All right. Next case is Rivera de Jesus. All right. If you'll please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
All right. Take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Urelis Rivera de Jesus.
All right. And Ms. De Jesus, you were here on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Did you, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Ms. Rivera de Jesus, do you understand that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Rivera de Jesus, did you here in Spalding County back on September 16th of 2023 commit the offense of criminal trespass at the property of Connect Care Convenience Store? Did you do that?
Yes. Care Connect Convenient Care.
Care Connect?
Convenient Care.
Okay, I have it. Connect Care Convenience Care. No.
That right?
Say it one more
Switch it
time. No, that's okay. I think you've written it right, but I think I need new glasses.
It's Care Connect Convenient Care.
Okay, it's just 2 words swapped.
Yeah.
Care Connect Convenient Care. Got it. Okay. All right. I'm going to find with your admission of guilt that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am, about anything before I sentence?
No.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Rivera de Jesus, on count 1, criminal trespass, I'm going to find you guilty. 12 months probation, $445 is your fine. That's 12 months of total probation. Please show your driver's license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products shall be tested for those. $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This case can close once 6 months have passed, no violations have occurred, and all conditions have been met. You're to pay restitution in the amount of $1,186.25 to Care Connect Convenient Care. And you'll pay that by making a one-time payment within 180 days of today to the clerk of court. You'll take that receipt showing the payment in full to sentence enforcement, and that's how you'll show proof of payment to the sentence enforcement team. You're also not to go within 1,000 feet of that office, and that's the sentence of the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, can I answer any questions for you about anything before we part ways?
No.
All right, well, that's the sentence of the court. Bailiff's going to walk you out that way and have you go meet with the sentence enforcement team, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Slaughter? All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Zaporia Slaughter.
And you were here on 23 SR 70, and according to my calendar, you were on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
You have passed up to me the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Ms. Slaughter, did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right, so did you, here in Spalding County, back on September 6th of 2021, operate a motor vehicle at 93 miles per hour in a 55 mile an hour zone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. How old are you?
26.
Okay, so, all right, well, this is not going to cause a suspension of your license, but it's definitely not going to help. All right, and then count 2, during the same course of events, did you operate your motor vehicle in a manner that was reckless in its disregard for the safety of person and property?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to move this to a best interest plea. All right, on counts 3, 4, and 5, these are each identical charges of child restraint, and that during this course of events, there were 3 minors in the vehicle who were not properly restrained as required by law. Is that correct?
Now, see, with that one, I'm going to plead to it, but it was only one child in the car. I don't know where the other 2 came from. And
Okay.
I've been saying this since they locked me up that night. It was only 2 kids. I mean, it was only one child in the car, but they put 3 on there. But I'm going to say yes. I'm already going through it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll meet you in the middle. I've already moved it over to a best interest plea. So instead of asking you to admit to the underlying facts, you're simply telling me that you believe that this plea is what's in your best interest.
Okay.
And I'll meet you in the middle on the 2 extras, and then I'll accept the plea, but I'll mark the fine to 0.
Thank you.
And that'll, because the state obviously thinks there were 3 kids in the car because that's the offer they gave.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, well, that'll meet us in the middle. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
let's do that then. All right, well, I'm going to find with your admission of guilt across all 5 of your cases to the point of a best interest plea that there's enough for me to take this plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it as negotiated with those couple of changes that we just talked about.
Yes, sir.
You ready for me to sentence?
Yes, sir.
All right, count one, speeding, 93 and a 55, guilty. It's, again, all best interest.
Okay.
12 months, 1425 is your fine. Count two, reckless driving, guilty, 12 months consecutive, 1378 is your fine. Count three, child restraint, guilty, $50, fine only. Count four, guilty, no fine. Count five, child restraint, guilty, no fine. That's a total of 24 months of probation. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products. You'll be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence, if any. And you must complete defensive driving school within 60 days of today. You have 30 days from today if you wish to approve this, if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, can I answer any questions for you about anything before you and I part ways?
Yes, about the defensive class, right? I mean, I ain't got no choice but to take it. But here's the thing about it. I'm actually in next month, well, next week really. I'm leaving. I won't be back until January. So how I'm gonna go about that?
Where are you leaving?
I'm leaving. I'm going to California
Okay.
until January.
I want you to try to do this before I evaluate what you want. What you want me to say is waive it, and I get that.
You don't have to. I'm just
Oh, no,
saying.
that's okay.
Yeah.
When you go to DDS's website, there's a converters where they take, hey, if you're in Georgia, this class becomes this class in this state. So go to DDS's website, pull up that converter and see what it looks like. If the two don't line up, talk to your sentence enforcement supervisor about that. But you can certainly complete the California version of that class as long as it's the DDS approved one across.
Okay.
So I'm good with you completing it out in California. That doesn't bother me.
Okay.
But let's just make sure you don't do one that's too high or too low. Let's make sure it's in the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a great question. All right. Mr. Urquhart, you can come on back up. Okay. I wanted to give you a good couple minutes because, like I said, don't want you to go anywhere you don't want this case to go. Do you want to go forward with this plea, or do you want me to reset your case?
We can go forward. My worry was being able to complete the probation as far as on a financial note because I haven't worked I used to work at Walker Concrete, and that was the type of company. It was a mobile company.
Yes.
I drove the concrete trucks, but it was set up for 1 year. Then they issued me my CDLs. Unfortunately, they ran out of work. Contract ended. They said they was going to call me back in 3 months. They never did. So I've been out of work since then, struggling.
Got it.
And with probation, I know you have to pay. So I had to think about, how.
Well, and I can make it a little easier on you, which is that you don't, unless it's restitution, there's always a non-cash option for this court. So we're set up as a $0 court. Every dollar I assign can be worked off in some other way unless it's restitution. So
Okay.
you have lots of options is my point.
Okay.
Does that help?
That's what I was worried about.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about that. You're going to have options.
Okay.
So, all right. Do you want me to go forward?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's, you know what? I don't remember where we were. Let's just start over. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Terrence J. Urquhart.
Mr. Urquhart, you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom? And did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, I did.
You've passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Mr. Urquhart, you understand you have the right to have an attorney represent you, and I think that's how far we made it before we stopped last time.
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself. Do you wish to represent yourself at this plea?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you would like to do?
Yes.
Now, you're charged, I do need you to know that you are pleading to one count of simple battery under the family, I'm sorry, you're pleading to simple battery under the Family Violence Act. It's technically 3 counts. I need you to tell me if you remember me saying that if you plead guilty to a family violence charge, that you lose your rights to a firearm. Do you understand that?
Yes, now I do.
All right, yeah, so set it up there first, and then it's right here on the back of the right sheet, right there, family violence. But you, the reason I'm pointing that out is because you had mistakenly initialed that you were not pleading to a family violence charge, but you are. So that means that this paragraph applies, which is that you're going to lose your rights to have a firearm or ammunition for the rest of your days. Do you understand that by finishing this plea, that result will happen?
Since you told me yes, but I don't want to lose that because the world is crazy now.
Okay, well then the best thing I can do is,
I'm the one that got beat up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you,
Right.
Based on his history, that has already happened repeatedly. He has a felony conviction and numerous family violence charges already.
oh, you're a convicted felon?
It's a
just a yes or
misdemeanor.
no.
It's a misdemeanor felon, and that was a lie about me too. So what she read was it's the way it's printed up.
Okay.
A misdemeanor felony, which means it was a misdemeanor. 12 months time I was incarcerated, and time for my release. So the courts upped the charge.
Okay.
It turned into a misdemeanor. I mean a felony. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So what I want to make sure you hear me say is that according to that, what we're about to do isn't going to change the landscape because you're already not allowed to have a gun.
Okay.
So,
I never needed one that way, but okay.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go forward with that. So let's, I'm going to go ahead and preemptively mark this as a best interest plea so we not get crossways on that. All right. So your count one, simple battery, which is that you, do you believe it is in your best interest to enter a plea to this simple battery charge count one, and that you did have unlawful physical contact with Onika Reed back on January 1st of 2023? I'm not asking you if you did it. I'm asking you if, after evaluating all of your choices, that you believe it is in your best interest to enter this guilty plea to that charge.
I never put my hands on her.
Okay, I'm going to move him over to jury. No, we're done. All right, jury trial calendar. You can step out into the hallway. This is like our 8th stop. I'm done.
I know.
So
I understand.
I got to give this team lunch. I've already given you 3 shots. We're done. We can revisit this at your calendar call. But I'm not going to take this plea today. If you want to, no, I'll just see at your next calendar call. So if you'll please step out in the hallway, they'll have you sign a reset notice. You have the right to the public defender's office. Your information will be on the reset notice. If you wish to apply for them, you need to do so ASAP, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whitman? Sorry, Jackie. I know you worked hard on that one. Yeah. All right. You're Miss Whitman?
Yes.
All right, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Brandy Michelle Whitman.
All right, Miss Whitman, you are here today. Yep, and you were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have, did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Oh, she missed it, John. Will you have her initial in the middle of page 1? I have one more plea, but I have 2 more people, so.
Mr. Slack wants to trial, but he was a bench warrant.
Okay, so I need to talk to him.
Yes.
later. Okay. Ms. Whitman, I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
It is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Did you see on here and hear me say that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
You're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have the right to a jury trial
Yes, sir.
and that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You are wanting to use a no-low on your suspended license charge from September 2nd of 2021.
Yes, sir.
Are you 21 years of age or older?
Yes, sir.
And have you used a NOLO on any suspended license charge in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
And you're asking me to accept a NOLO for this charge?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, I'm gonna find that your request for a NOLO is proper, and I'm gonna grant it. I'm gonna find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and affirmatively entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it. Any questions, ma'am, before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, the sentence of the court then is as follows. As to 23 SR 56, count 1, suspended license, NOLO, 12 months, 742.50 is your fine. That's a total of 12 months probation. Count 2 is dismissed, as well as any other charges in this case. Show you valid license to sentence enforcement, which you actually brought with you, and it's attached to the file. Grateful for that. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. $60 month supervision fee, $50 intake fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence, if any, and your case can close as soon as you've satisfied your obligations. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Okay, any questions about anything before you and I part ways?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then I'm gonna pass you off to the bailiffs. They're gonna walk you out to the double doors and have you go meet with sentence enforcement.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Weathersby? All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Kayla Sion Weathersby.
All right, Miss Weathersby, you're here on 23 SR 0100. You were late to court this morning, so I'm going to jump forward to this document that I'm holding up. This is the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Ms. Weathersby, do you understand that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial on your DUI?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea to reckless driving, there will be no trial and your case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the facts of your case. Oh, any questions about anything on this document before I pivot to the facts?
No.
No? Okay. Kayla Weathersby, did you here in Spalding County on September 13th of 2021 operate your motor vehicle with a reckless disregard for the safety of person and property here in Spalding County? So that's the reduced charge of reckless driving instead of what you came in on.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to find that with your admission of guilt as to the reduced charge of reckless driving, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I will follow it as you have negotiated. Can I answer any questions for you about anything before I sentence? No?
No.
Okay. Kayla Weathersby on 23 SR 100, count 1, reckless driving. Guilty, 12 months, 1232 is your fine. All other charges in this case will be dismissed. That's 12 months of total probation. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $60 per month supervision fee. This is consecutive to any state court sentence. Do you live outside of the area?
Yes, probably an hour and so
Where do you live?
in Marietta.
Okay. Do you, Mr. Shepherd, was this going to be, I know we were talking about these e-reports. Was this one going to be upon completion of terms or?
I've had so many of today.
I know, I can't remember. She doesn't have a lot to do. She just needs to do community service work, DUI school. And
Yeah, to get the, yes.
Okay, so it's completion of terms?
Yeah, she needs to get, once she gets that done, she's here.
Okay.
Because you were living in Marietta, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as far as your e-report goes, the way that'll work, Ms. Weathersby, is we want you highly, highly motivated to get all of your terms done. And so what that means is that you will need to come to report here, but only until you get everything done. So
Okay.
you hold the keys in your hand to stop having to drive down to Spalding County.
Okay.
All right, 40 hours community service work, and you must complete a DUI school. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, can I answer any questions for you about anything before we part ways?
You said if I finish, so does that mean like my
As soon as
probation
you've-
will be over or?
Yeah, as soon as you've checked all these boxes, then you may go to e-report
Mhm.
and stop coming down here. So
Okay.
the goal is to give you a pathway to not have to drive back down here.
So, when you mean drive back down here to like for like the probation?
Yes.
So he said that I was able to call somebody since I live far.
So I'm the one who stepped in there and I've changed that. And that's why that's what I'm trying to communicate to you. So let me slow down a little bit because I was moving fast, trying to finish court.
Okay.
The court's policy is if you live anywhere in the state of Georgia, pretty much, the e-report option is available upon completion of terms. The folks that get e-report altogether are the folks that are leaving Georgia altogether. But I don't want to make you trapped here. The goal is for you to go do these things as quickly as you can so that you can have the e-report option.
Okay.
But we have found that both keeping folks who are in Georgia on e-report and having terms is really hard on the probation office, and it's resulted in a lot of revocations that we'd like to try to head off earlier. So you have the keys in your hand to get your case to e-report. You just have to get it there. So it puts the pressure on you to get these things finished. Because again, we don't want to punish you by having you drive down here when you don't need to. But at the same time, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you shouldn't be allowed to e-report.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Okay. Is that okay with you? I know you're not in love with it, but do you understand my position on it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's every other week I come out here.
I don't know. That's up to them. They could have you just once a month. It's
Okay.
totally up to you, and your efforts that you're putting into it will decide that.
Okay.
Again, you are controlling your destiny here, and I think you'll be pleased if you put the effort in that I think you will. I think you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
Good questions. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. You can walk out. You can come around. What's your name again? All right. Come on. Is this the first case you ever had in this court?
I'm sorry?
Is this the first case you've ever had in this court?
Yes, sir.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's 23 SR 0109. Are you Richard Anthony Slack Jr.?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you were late to court today.
Yes, Your Honor.
I took you into custody, and you're wanting a jury trial. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need you to know that this is the very last time I will ever lift a warrant for you. So if you're ever late again and I have to take you back into custody, I have no intentions of letting you back out. Do you understand?
Understood. Is there something I can suggest? Your
Sure.
Google Maps sent me over to that courthouse over there. I was over there the whole time. Didn't think I had to be over here. So I was in municipal court instead of state court.
You were in the white building next door?
Yes, sir. So the whole time, the GPS, I was like, it's not the right location. It's municipal court. State court, I thought it was the same, but it's right.
And that's when you typed in 132 and it sent you over there?
It kept leading me the same location. State court kept leading me to municipal.
Okay, you have my attention. What did you type? What exactly did you type into? You can go ahead and do his reset for a trial. Sorry.
I typed in state court. What was on the document that was sent to my mailbox?
That's curious. Okay. Well, how about this? When I leave court this afternoon, I'm going to do some typing in and see what comes up wrong. Because I have some ability to claim those things and move them around. And you're not the it hasn't happened in a long time, but you're not the first person to say that. So now I'm kind of curious as to what might be lurking out there. Because we've had, I don't know, this happens about once a quarter. So there's something out there. So, okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Municipal case initially.
Do what?
This was a municipal court.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, that also makes sense that that's where it would go. Okay. Well, the short answer is I'm still not going to lift another warrant because now you know where I am. And if you said it again next time, I'd shrug my shoulders and go, well, I'm just sorry, Mr. Slack.
It won't happen again.
I know it won't. I think you're going to be just fine. All right. Be early for next time. Bailiffs have a reset notice right there for you to sign. And if you'll just head back that way, you got all your stuff?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. If you'll head back that way and follow John out the door, issue the warrants, forfeit the cash bonds. Let's call it. Do y'all want to call the calendar really fast? And let me shut off